Okay, so my lips, I have to announce this immediately. My lips are really burning right now because I've been testing out this lip booster by Simon and Tom, and apparently they live in Barcelona. Oh, I don't know. They like Barcelona. Right, okay, this is good, but it's very painful. It's very painful. I feel like I need an epidural to cope with this because it's very painful right now. So if I look a bit twitchy and a little bit like stranger than usual, it's because of that. Okay, so anyway, today we're going to be doing a first impression on the new L'Oreal Infallible foundation blender. So it comes in this little tiny box. This cost me £6. No, it didn't. It did not cost me £6. £6.99 is how much it cost me. Or was it £7.99? I don't know. I'm going to just put the price here because you can never trust my word when I'm giving you prices, because I never know. I never know. And why can I not get this open? I mean, you know how I feel about this kind of packaging situation. Come on, come on. Okay, so this is the foundation sponge in all its glory. It feels very dense. I mean, I know that it's not wet and I've not used it. Like a lot of the time with beauty blenders and sponges, you do have to kind of, you know, use them a little bit to really get them softened up, kind of like, you know, a potential boyfriend. But yeah, I found that with the Real Techniques Miracle Sponge, I didn't like it when I first tried it. And I love it now after just kind of, you know, wearing it in a little bit. You know, like a new pair of shoes, you have to wear a new pair of shoes in. It's the same thing with a sponge, you know. By the way, yeah, I'll address the elephant in the room. This is my crown. Some of you may have seen this before if you watch my moon dust first impression. And I'm putting it on because, well, any excuse and the crown goes on. So it's going on today. You can see it differs from the usual kind of beauty blender because it's got this flattened side, and it's also, I mean, it looks different to the, I can't find it anywhere right now, but it does look different as well to the Real Techniques one. So I'm just going to go away. I'm going to moisten this up. Sorry for anyone that does not like the word moisten. There's no and when you don't pronounce the T. It's like a silent T. Moisten. Imagine the T is like you've got the line of M-O-I-S, and then you've got a T, and it's carrying, like it's hiding under the bed maybe. So you don't mention the T in moisten. What have you come here for? A lesson in grammar and pronunciation? I don't think you did. You're saying, Anwen, get on with the foundation blender review already. That's what we came here for. We do not want to hear you going on. I'm going to go wet this, and then I'll be back. She'll be back. Okay, also, I just got a mouthful of it. Just a little mini, like, first impression. Well, it's a second impression. I did the first impression on my Snapchat. I bought this Quick Fix Prep Spray by Urban Decay. So I want to just test this out. And I must say, this is the second time I've used it. It feels lovely. I mean, it feels really nice. It's meant to prep your skin. I'll keep you updated on what I think about this, but I just wanted to throw it in there to keep you, you know, on top of everything I'm doing today. I have drenched my L'Oreal sponge, and as you kids can see, it has got quite a bit bigger. Now, to compare it, I've also got the Real Techniques sponge, and if you can kind of see, like, they both, actually, the Real Techniques sponge is, if you compare there, it is kind of slightly bigger, I would say, but then the Real Techniques sponge is known for being bigger. I mean, that's just its thing. It's like, you know, in the locker room, I am the biggest. Anyway, so, and I also took the liberty of wetting one of my genuine beauty blenders, just so you could kind of see how they all kind of match up in size. The beauty blender definitely is the smallest of the three. If you're going to compare the L'Oreal sponge with the beauty blender or the Real Techniques sponge, it's definitely more similar in terms of size, and also in terms of like the shape of it, the way that they both have this kind of flat kind of ridge on them. Although the L'Oreal sponge has more of a kind of, I'd say, a bigger, or maybe not bigger, but you can see there, it's just a, I don't know, longer flat bit. Who knows? I don't know. So this L'Oreal sponge feels very dense. That could just be down to the fact that it's, you know, new. It's the first time that I've kind of used it. The Real Techniques one's super like squishy, but this one I seem to recall felt very similar to this one, like when I first used it. So I think I have to keep in mind that, you know, this is like its virgin voyage into the world of blending. So okay, we're just going to get to this, and I think today I'm going to be using my YSL Touch d'Eclat foundation just because I want to use it up. It was so expensive, and I mean, they changed the formula. This used to be my own, this used to be like my favourite foundation. I used to just love this foundation. I'm just putting some onto my hand there. And what I'm actually going to begin by doing today, which is what I do tend to do when I'm applying my foundation kind of every day, I'm just going to kind of apply this onto my face, and I'm actually just going to rub it in a tiny bit just with my fingers, just to give me a little bit more coverage. I find that this kind of helps to kind of maximize coverage, but also I think it just stops you kind of wasting as much on the sponge, because, you know, the sponge isn't as inclined to maybe just eat it all up. I don't know, that could just be me thinking, you know, rather negatively of the sponge and its intentions. But it says on the box, the pro tip is to use the flat side for a seamless application and use the round side for buildable coverage. So, okay, so I mean, we're going to go with the flat side, I guess. Oh, it feels like it sounds hollow. Can you hear that? It sounds hollow, and you could tell like how dense it is by... Can you hear that sound? I mean, that's a little bit perturbing. Like, I'm like, what? This just doesn't feel quite right to be like, you know, whacking my face with something that's making that sound. I mean, really? Okay, not as bad as the silly sponge sound. I mean, that was just... That was on a whole other level of sounds, you know? Okay, so, I mean, so far, I'm liking this. I mean, I'm liking it. It's just kind of, yeah, it's going on. It's kind of, you know, flattening the foundation onto my face. Isn't it, really? I mean, what more could be said? It's flattening it on, flat, flat, flat. Because I usually use, like, even with, like, the Real Techniques sponge, I'll always use, like, the rounded end for, like, this part of the initial, you know, application. But, I mean, I'm liking this. I'm liking it. If you're in the UK, you can buy the L'Oreal sponge at Superdrug. I know that they had it in Boots, like, last weekend. I wanted to buy one. Like, I picked one up and the lady was like, no, you can't have that. It's part of a 3 for 2 L'Oreal offer. You get the 3 for 2 offer, then you get the sponge free. And I was like, well, I don't really want 3 L'Oreal products. There are, like, there's just not 3 L'Oreal products that I want right now. So then she actually, in front of me, in front of a consumer's face, went to put it back on the shelf. I was thinking, really? I mean, are you not trying to sell things? Is this not a shop? Sorry, have I walked into somebody's house and I've gone to their makeup table and picked up their sponge and said, excuse me, I would like to buy these. How much is it? I think not. I was in Boots. I was in the shop at the counter. There was a till there and everything. So I feel like it's a bit weird that they didn't want to sell me it, you know. Anyway, by the way, this is lovely. This is really, really nice. I've really enjoyed that. I don't really have anything critical to say other than I just enjoyed that. So, I mean, that's kind of like my initial application. It does feel a lot kind of, I don't know, a lot tougher, I'd say, than the Real Techniques or the Beauty Blender, in the sense that it doesn't feel as, like, squishy. You know, like sometimes a Beauty Blender can feel kind of like a stress ball. You know, it's got that nice kind of really therapeutic squishiness to it. This one, I mean, it doesn't really have that. But I mean, I like that. I liked using the flat side for the application. So far, I would say, you know, if you wanted to give this a go, I don't really think you would be disappointed. So it did say on, I've got foundation on my pants now as well. Okay, so it did say as well that we can use the rounded kind of ends or sides, or the rounded bit, because it's an oval. It doesn't really have sides. I don't know. Anyway, so it said I can use that to do buildable coverage. So, I mean, let's do that. We're going to go in over my little danger zone here of the, what we suspect is a hormonal breakout type situation, you know. I mean, really, who are these spots these days? breaking out of my face. I mean, really. I have just bought a load of Dermalogica skincare just to try. So, yeah. And that's the end of that story, which I'm sure you're very sorry about. Okay, so, I mean, this is nice. I must say, I don't have anything to complain about. And I do actually feel like, because this is quite dense and it's not, you know, very squishy, it's actually not, well, I feel like it's not absorbing like much of the foundation, and it's given me a really nice kind of even coverage. I just have no complaints, really. I think the price is great. You know, it's a little bit more, maybe by a couple of pounds expensive than the Real Techniques Miracle Sponge. But, you know, if you think the Beauty Blender's like, what, £18 now? I don't think that anyone's going to be buying Beauty Blenders soon, apart from people that just have loads of money and they, you know, don't mind. I just think that, you know, the Real Techniques Miracle Sponge, I reach for that all the time over my Beauty Blender. I reach for it all the time. It's my kind of sponge of choice these days. So it's got this tip bit as well, which I think if you know, like to apply your concealer under your eyes, that would be majestical to use because you've got that tip. So I think the flat side would really enable you to get, you know, a good application. Also, if you've done your eye makeup first and you've got like a bit of a wing situation going on, I feel like this would be really easy to like not mess the wing up, or just to like neaten up your, you know, your eyeshadow. Sometimes if you end up getting it like all down your face, you can kind of go over it. That's like a great tip, by the way. This is why I always do my eye makeup first, because you can kind of correct mistakes with a sponge, I find. I think for my kind of first impression, I don't really have anything else to say, and I feel like if I try and say anything else, then it'll just be blabbering and not very succinct, and, you know, we'll be here all day. So yeah, I really like that. Do I kind of compare all day, every day, compare? I don't know. Do I prefer it to the Real Techniques sponge? I'd say probably not. However, I do feel like you need to really kind of break these in, like I said earlier. So I will keep you updated in the comments or the description down below. If you follow me on Snapchat, I'll definitely be updating you there as well. So yeah, I mean, but I definitely have no complaints. I would recommend that you give this a go if it's something you're interested in. So yeah, no criticism whatsoever from me. Anyway, I'm going to go now. I hope that you have a lovely, fabulous day, whatever it is you're doing. I am just going to keep the crown on for a little bit, I think. Why not? Go and have my porridge with the crown on. Have a lovely day. Let me know in the comments down below. Have you tried this sponge? What do you think? What's your favourite sponge? I would be very keen to know, and I'm sure other people would love the feedback too. Okay, so I'm going to go now. Bye!